Hello, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this is a session of Apocalypse Keys. And we're in the middle of a mystery, and we're taking up with our characters with difficulty 8 mystery, having 7 clues on the table. Um, and this session is part of Open Hearth Gaming, which you can find out more about at openhearthgaming.com. Hey, we have a podcast and a whole bunch of other stuff. There'll be links in the show notes if anyone ever checks those out. Sometimes people do. Sometimes people leave delightful comments. More engagement. That's all good. So we have right now 7 clues on the table. We are here in Barcelona at the seminary. We have the seeds that were found vibrating. We saw the carved figure with a noose that some connections and information was gained about that last time. We have a couple of things about Spain in general, the idea of the dissertations on monsters like RPCs during Franco's Spain, but also the fact that possibly this particular seminary has been historically used as a training ground for exorcists before this modern day. There was also found of some ancient keys. Where to, they don't know, but it had a more modern fob on it. But as well, then kind of related a set of maps presenting a different version of the campus now, like slightly different. Has the maps been changed? Are there hidden places? It's all a question. And of course, then we found the love letter from to Samuel from Lilith, which is tied in with some of our ruin and stuff. And when we left off last time, we ticked another box on our doom clock, and we saw outside that on the campus, inside at the flowers on a person's desk, that everything suddenly bloomed, died, and then bloomed again. And this is after, of course, one of the 3 sets of returners, well, 3 sets of returners. One of them was killed. So there are a pair of sisters and one person that you haven't talked to amongst that are left. But let's check in with everyone. Oh, let me bring Teal in. I think they were having issues. Let's see if we can get them into the call here. Teal, can you hear us? Give them a second. Sometimes this happens with Zoom. One time I had someone get 3 instances up at the same time, which I have no idea how they did that before they all collapsed into the singularity. Teal, can you hear us? Nope.
Managed to do that yesterday with StreamYard. Haven't seen that there, but
I haven't used StreamYard for a while because I had it would interact weirdly with my camera for a very long time.
I mean, I prefer Zoom, but I was in the game, so
Yeah. Teal, can you hear us? Give a second. I'm going to pause the recording while we deal with technical issues. We'll be right back. Okay, so we'll see where we proceed from those issues here in a bit, but we're going to press on. Let's come around and check about standard advances and uh, the character's impulses first to kind of get things started. So we'll come back around on that question of ruin advances for 2 of our characters here in just a moment. So Samuel, did you get a regular advance?
Yeah, I did. I
Okay.
did.
And what did you take for that?
I took a move from another playbook,
Okay.
and that move from another playbook is, let me just quickly see which one I took. From the Fallen playbook, it says, "You loved me once." And I thought that is so on point with the upcoming Lilith. When you
Okay.
first encounter a named NPC or faction, you may declare how they loved or worshipped you before the fall. Spend darkness tokens and roll. The keeper will tell you something significant and valuable, even on a miss. On
Okay.
an 8 to 10, you feel their heart open to you and choose one. They worship you still, gain one bond with them. They have what you need, clear condition. The sight of them soothes your heart, erase one ruin. On an 11 plus, they intoxicate you, choose one. Your fates are now linked in a strange ways, gain one bond with them, or they can help you seek the vengeance on who wronged you, mark one ruin. And on a miss, they serve those who forced your fall. Their masters make a move against you immediately. The keeper will tell you what happens next. And that, of course, implies the interesting questions of who was it who forced my fall?
Absolutely. And you still have one condition marked, right? You are still despairing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do you want to pick for your impulse this session?
Mm, I think um, this time I'm up for like one big last reveal, and I'm taking that you learn something significant about your prophecy.
Okay. That sounds reasonable. Uh, Amanda, you got an advance last time, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And what are you going to take for that?
I'm lost between tabs. Give me a
Oh, yeah.
second.
And a
There
lot of
I am.
tabs.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, there I am. I did take as an advance. I took a new division move, if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
And I took this because I saw the Shattered Me Project Hourglass. When you use the resources of Project Hourglass to look through the shatter point, describe an alternative version of yourself from another timeline, and how you reach out to them. Spend darkness tokens and roll.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I dig that very much. And what do you want for your impulse this time?
I think I marked, did you act in a way that contradicts what you know of your past self, which
Okay.
need which ties nicely with the shatter point thing.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. And then Wendell, did you get an advance?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and what are you taking?
I'm taking Do Harbingers Dream of Monsters Like Me? Which essentially lets me tear away my skin and become a harbinger for a short moment.
Oof, that is a rough one. That's nice.
And
Uh,
for my impulse, I take Did you surrender to the hunger within you at the worst possible moment?
now that does seem to connect together there. That does seem absolutely appropriate. Um, Teal, is your mic working now? Okay, well, give us a shout if and when you're able to get that set. We'll hold off on getting stuff set from you in a bit till we can hear you. Um, let's swing back around. Samuel, last time you filled your ruin track.
Yes.
There's my Midwestern accent coming in. Filled your ruin track with ruin, which allows you to take a ruin move.
Mhm.
So before you kind of tell us what move that is, when you get your ruin track filled and you erase it and you take a ruin move, you get a glimpse of what you could be as a harbinger. You get a glimpse of a version of that, of a slice of that, or so on. So, what do you think we see? What do you see in your mind when that happens?
I took that rune move when I tried to find solace with Amanda, and when Amanda was probing into me. And I think what happens is that a flood of memories come back through that crack that Samuel had sealed for millennia. And he sees, or they see, a different dimension. The one of our player who was there for one session maybe and had to drop out, where we said that I had consumed their world, and that is Samael imbibing all the emotional energy of the people of that planet, wiping them clear of any kind of, well, drive and emotion, and turning that world into a world of perfect order. And what he also recognizes is that that is an act of rebellion against the Most High, because the Most High does not like order. As we established last time, Most High is boundless creation.
Interesting. And if we kind of flash back from that vision back to the real world, what is your reaction? What is it when we see the look on your face as it is, sunglasses on? What do we see?
I think we see nothing.
Okay, just
I think,
impassive, no reaction.
yeah, and it's Samuel going to the other end of that scene we had last time, where he lets his mask fall a little bit. Here he tightens it as tightly as he can to keep that down.
Okay, I think that sounds more than reasonable. Teal, can you talk? Nope, still not hearing you. Okay, we'll press on.
Mhm.
Um, uh, Amanda. Oh, but Amanda,
Yeah, I chose another one.
when your ruin track fills,
Yeah.
you get a flash
Oh,
of that. I think maybe ties in a little bit to the move that you took, the standard move. But like, what do we see? What do you see of you as a harbinger?
that's a good question. I think we see Amanda just taking in all the memories, becoming part of everybody's emotional state, everybody's and just rifling through everything, taking what they in that case they like, and just leaving maybe not very much behind, just taking stuff, because in the end memories are just there for the taking, right? They were shoved into me. Maybe it's time to be a little more proactive about that.
So how do you think, like when we see you, how do we know that what you do is different from what Wendell does? What Wendell's hunger of eating secrets and information, like for Amanda, what is what does that consumption look like or feel like or about?
I think it's not because she actually wants to, it's just habit is pushed into her. She just becomes a receptacle. This is not something that is intentional so much, and she doesn't devour them. She keeps them. They're
Excellent.
they're yeah.
You're not transforming them, you're containing them.
Yeah, exactly, like an archive.
Nice. And what ruin move do you think you want to take?
I took the rune move. Where it is? Where is it? Where do you end? Where do I begin? I know that the heart is such a strong but fragile thing. When you know the desire or emotional state of an NPC or a PC, if invited, you may touch them and alter it. Mark one ruin and choose two. And then I can mess around with people.
Nice. Uh, so we're going to take up there with the three of you, right now, Rosebud is kind of caught between shifting realities. But we're literally taking up in the wake of that tick of doom, of that blooming, uh, and you're in that gym, uh, and you've got the chancellor and the father with you. And the chancellor will look at you in a way that says, "Okay, what do we do?" Um, uh, what what should we be doing?
You should be hiding. I'm not
H-
sure it will help, but you should.
hiding where? I mean, uh, should I cancel the book fair?
I'm not sure hiding will work. We'll need to figure out who's doing that. That's the thing. We need to figure out who's doing that and maybe explain to them why it's not a good thing that they're doing.
All right. Um, and you can see she's overwhelmed, and I think she will stop and she will say, I need to call some people. So
Yeah, that's a good idea.
this, and she kind of gestures to the room and and walks out. Clearly, maybe stunned, staggered is the right way to put it. Um, and Father Murata will will look at you, and again, his mood was changed last time, and he will say, "Should I go check on my other charges? Is that what I should do? Or would you
We,
want me to stay here and help or observe?"
hmm. I mean, we haven't talked to all of your charters yet, have we? Talked to the sisters and the one in the well, okay.
The only one that you haven't talked to is Lane,
Okay,
who is back at the facility.
okay, then I other question. Do you have archives?
Uh, do you mean archives for the project, or do you mean archives for the seminary? What do you mean by archives? I want to
Generally,
help.
yeah, I know. Generally, archives, any kind of archives
Yes,
that you have.
well, there, and he pauses and he says, there's a library. I know that there are older historical archives for the seminary. That's what Ordonez, the scholar who died, was looking at. And there, I definitely have notes about the returners from the conversations and so on. Those are archives.
Um, One more question.
Please ask.
The returners, do you
Yes.
have a map of the points at which they returned?
I might. I would have to check back at the office. I do not know off the top of my head. I'm sure it's in the notes.
Oh, mhm,
They they often avoid talking about that moment of returning, but I can check back.
mhm. Cool. I would like to go to the most recent place. We haven't been there, right? Where the person returned or was taken, because maybe there's a thing and we can
Oh, I'll
get some
check if any of them
information.
returned here to Barcelona.
Oh, okay.
I know the Petralis
Okay.
did, but I don't think Valet or Prin did.
Yeah.
But let me go and check. Um,
Mhm.
I is it? May I go now?
I'm looking at the other two. Hello?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, thank you. And the father will leave, and the three of you are there, having a chance to talk to one another here.
Okay, what do we have a plan? Do any of you have a plan? Or are we too emotional right now? Looking at Samael. I'm sorry, but
What happened between you two?
maybe you want to explain?
Is it relevant to the mission in any way?
No. Well, looks at Samael. Apparently, um, I don't know. I don't know if it's relevant to the mission at hand. I think there's a certain connection to our taciturn friend here.
I fully turn on Samuel. There's no time to be shy right now. You saw what just happened.
I think we've established that Samael is perhaps, that we're doing the aftermath of the vision of the ruin. Uh, uh, Cinna, what do you want to do now?
Uh, being left without both of his kind of uh, fallbacks in asking Rosebud, like, can you find something out in the ether, or Samael asking him some obscure questions. Uh, he's finally going to turn to Amanda, who's kind of he's I think he actually kind of sees Amanda like a little sister in a way. Uh, I'm hoping you have some good ideas because
I think we might want to look at where the reality is thin, right? Where we could maybe connect to whatever is coming here, or I mean, we might that might be a mistake though, because if we connect to the other reality, then we might open the door that we're meaning to close. I don't know.
I only have ineffective or desperate ideas.
That's cool. My ideas are also very desperate.
So, Wendell, what do you want to do?
Uh, I should have thought about what my moves can actually do
Oh,
before
yeah.
I
No,
said
that's
that, but
okay. You got a lot of moves. This is one of the games again with a lot
they
of
have
moves,
a
a lot
lot
of
of
text.
text.
Yeah.
I mean, I could try my new division move here. See if that sparks something.
Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. So I'd say, well, okay, not really supposed to talk about that, but it kind of might be important. There's this project in division which I have been taking part on, really, and it's the Project Hourglass, where you can reach across dimensions and talk to another version of yourself,
Hmm.
maybe, and
Tell me more about this project.
I guess I shouldn't have. Yeah, well, it's like there are different dimensions and timelines, and in different dimensions and timelines, might have been different people with different, knowledge things,
Mm.
and maybe I can't contact one of my other versions, and maybe she might have an idea.
I don't know much about interdimensional travel, but if it's anything like time travel, it's probably a bad idea to speak to yourself.
Yeah, but I'm all out of other ideas. But you said you had desperate, and maybe ineffective ideas as well. So
Well, I
I'll
was
try
thinking
that
of
first.
tearing up open a false door and perhaps baiting it so we can get a good look at it.
Okay, I know what you mean about unadvisable. Ooh, ooh.
Poor and destructive, desperate ideas. It's my specialty, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'd rather talk to my other self before we do that.
Okay.
So
I am
for,
reacting with cowardice now.
okay, I think that's fair. Uh, for that, the shattered me, when you go to do that, what do we see on screen? What does that move look like?
I think what it looks like is that I need some stuff for that. And I think what I need is I think either a fountain or even a faucet, something that lets water drip down.
The
Just to,
shower
yeah,
where the body was
maybe
found?
um, creepy,
Or
but okay,
okay.
if that's the closest.
Yep.
Um, Sure, I just need falling water to see the spaces between the where the drops are falling,
Okay.
because there's the potential that the drop might have fallen a little differently, right?
Yeah.
And once you see that, you can reach through this kind of kind of yeah, I think shower is pretty good because you can look through the shower falling and you can see through the water falling into this other timeline dimension.
Absolutely. Uh, let's let's have you. How many tokens do you want to spend on this?
I have a lot of tokens, so I think I'm going to spend, I'm going to spend all three, not all of them, three.
Yeah, right. Three is the most.
Okay,
So
and that's your roll dice with me. I think that's the one we're using.
roll dice with friends.
Yeah, okay, okay. It's an 11. That's a little
That
much.
is an 11. Do you want to modify that up or down with bonds?
Yeah, I have one bond remaining with Wendell, but let me see what happens when I overshoot. Ooh. It's also very cool. I think I want to spend the last one with Wendell because
Okay.
Wendell's here, right? And yeah, yeah, and we're supposed to talk about a moment, right, that we had with this person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I think this is actually right this instance where Wendell suggested let's rip apart reality and open another door. That yeah, that totally motivates me right now. So I am at the 10,
Mm-hmm.
and thoughts and memories come together in song, and your form harmonizes with it. Choose two. Look like one person who causes fear and easily intimidates others. Versus,
I think you're looking at the Man of a Thousand
oh,
Faces.
yes, I do. I am sorry.
That's okay.
Damn it. Okay. Yeah, choose one, uncover a key, gaining you temporary time lost. Temporary power of darkness. But I think I want to uncover a key actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Great cost to my alternative self.
So I think there is a a vision of yourself. Different different writing, different color writing. The form you take is slightly different. And perhaps a uh, like someone who maybe seems to be suffering, and they will reach out through time and space, and they will drop in your hands a set of what looks like chains and very old padlocks with weird runes and markings on them. The padlocks have been either cut open or broken open, but like when they hand them to you, you feel the weight of them. That these are chains and locks for monsters.
Almost, basically.
Yes, like
Oh.
they're bonds made to contain.
Oh, okay.
Uh, that seemed like a fair
Mm-hmm.
clue, and
Oh, that is a very fair clue.
I think that they look at you and they mouth something that you can't understand, and then they're gone.
What? Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
And
And I
it's
think,
not just that they're gone. You know that when they vanish, they're not just vanishing here, that they're vanishing from where they were.
okay. I'll turn to one and say that was bad. That was
How's it
fucking, that
going in
was
there?
that was fucking bad. We got this and that. Well, I'm throwing them to you, basically, at you. Like, well, yeah. Let's go rip apart reality then.
Very well.
If we find something, we can probably use these to bind them, I guess.
Cinna, we'll come back to you then. What is it that you got these weird monster binding broken chains?
Uh, yeah, I'd like to. It just feels like an appropriate moment since we failed in where she died. I'm gonna go over to the place where she trained,
Okay.
uh, and I'm essentially gonna fight myself for a bit.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I'm gonna start turning myself inside out, uh,
Ooh,
tearing myself apart
sure.
Okay.
until I can release a bit of the harbinger that sleeps inside.
Okay. And which move is this that you are doing?
Do harbingers dream of monsters like me?
Okay. Then let's have you tell me how many darkness tokens you want to spend.
I'm going to spend 3.
Okay. Everybody's going big.
I have faith in my poor rolls. And I was correct.
You were correct. Do you wish to spend a bond to bump that up to an 8?
Uh, I would. I'll spend with Amanda here, I guess.
That makes sense. And what is it about that connection that pushes you forward on that?
I think I'm showing off a little bit.
Okay.
Like, you may not like how drastic my methods are, but they work. They do the thing. Damn the consequences. Just look at me, how majestic and destructive I am.
And like visually with you, what do we see happen there?
Uh, at first, it looks like I'm just going a bit mad. I'm running around, punching walls, bashing my head against them. Uh, Basic man having a breakdown kind of situation. But eventually, the where I hit my fists or head, those surfaces, long after I've moved on, they start to crack in far bigger proportion than makes sense. And eventually, it becomes apparent that I've cracked essentially the reality where I punched those holes.
Okay.
And eventually, it breaks apart, pulling parts of me inside it, like I'm standing in front of a great vacuum. And it's
And
pulling the like physical shell I've built up around this magical sieve that I am.
okay. And what choice do you want to make there?
Uh, I would like a. Where did it go? Uh, I would like a key at great cost, as I turn into a harbinger of jagged shadows and haunting whispers.
Let's think what we want here as the clue. I think that we will see something of a harbinger of the bit that you are and realize how timeless it is in some ways. Like, even though you are this hunger now, this hunger has existed before, has existed previous to you. And I think you will feel that hunger, its ravenous desire reach out to you because it is trapped. It was trapped. It was caught. It was caught somewhere here. Like you could tell you are getting a resonance from this place in the past. And let's have you go ahead and mark a ruin as you feel that, and it will reach out like there's a sympathy to those padlocks. Like another thing is being given to you, and it will hand you forward a what looks like a scale, a balance scale. Uh, Very simple. There's nothing on one side, but there's a feather on the other, and it's you can tell that that this is some kind of scale of judgment, something used to measure, judge monsters, souls, people. You're unsure, but it it is some kind of tool that was used on them. And I think there is that it reaches out, it physically touches you, it burns that ruin into you and drops this thing in your hands. Another shade. Does that seem like a fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
As I like stumble away from this crackling, warm Terran reality and like holding these scales, my clothes like smoking on my body. I'm starting to get the picture, I think.
Talk to me.
Well, these scales, you know, judgment. Clearly something fallen, right? Something that would have at once been worthy,
Mm.
but then was chained.
Mhm. And judged.
I I don't want to name names, but it does feel like we're up against a fallen angel, if
Mm.
not the devil. Is the devil
Well,
real? Do you know?
somewhere, sure. I here, I probably not as simple as that. Also, if I could make clear sense of my memories, that would be well, that would be weird. That would not be me, I think.
Yeah. I'm fairly sure we're dealing with a fallen angel.
Mhm. And they're dragging people back from these. I remember that we found that out, right? That people were dragged somewhere with this noose thing, lasso thing.
The figure that you got was that figure of a noose, and then there was the connection made, sort of the
Mm,
context,
mm,
the memory that there is kind of a marker and a sign of symbol of an angel retrieving the lost,
mhm. Mm-hmm.
associated
Right,
with
right,
Lilith.
right. Lilith, right.
Yeah.
So it's probably her, right? Driving people back and whatever that has to do with these rose things, these flower things.
Maybe she just likes them.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe.
Let's do this. So we've got a couple clues on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take
Mm-hmm.
our break.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take 10 and we'll come back and we'll see where everybody's at in terms of audio and video and where we're going to continue on.
Mm-hmm.
So take 10 and then
Mm-hmm.
we'll be back, okay?
Yeah, okay.
So Rosebud, you've been sort of in the background of this, flickering through um, getting settled. What do you want to pick as your impulse for this session?
I'm in a different browser, so if you could read them off to me.
Okay. Did you harm yourself in pursuit of perfection? Did you deny yourself comfort from another monster? Did you blame someone else to hide your own inadequacies? Did you let yourself believe you could be loved? Or did you put your own desires above the needs of others?
Hmm. I'm going to pick, well, I'm going to pick um, Pursuit of Perfection
Okay.
because Rosebud is currently experiencing a massive change to her understanding or their understanding of reality.
So in the background, just to kind of frame up, I'm not entirely sure how much you heard, but let me frame up what Rosebud would have seen Samael clearly see something reacting and then go very, very quiet, like something like they are up in their head about something. And there's clearly been some was tension between Samael and Amanda prior to that. Then you would have seen Amanda go into the shower to use the water there as a focus and reached through to another version of themselves and come back with these padlocks and chains that are old and kind of cut open but have runes and markings and sigils that clearly made to contain monsters. And then Wendell went into the sort of practice area where our returner had been working with her sword earlier and ripped themselves open and the world briefly, and also contacted a bit of themselves, and that thing clearly had some connection to this place, and handed them a weird set of balance scales, clearly for judging something abstract with a feather on one side, clearly an instrument of judgment. So, Rosebud, what do we see you doing? Like, what is your next step here?
So, Rosebud has probably been shifting form quite a bit. maybe appearing a bit like a Picasso painting, and pretty much tuned out to whatever was going on because Rosebud was trying to process the awareness of Samael being a part of reality, part of the structure of reality. That really, it surprised Rosebud partly because Rosebud didn't know it, and it also surprised Rosebud because it's Rosebud is unclear how Samael and his angels, the lights that come from Samael, um, uh, how does that connect to the rest of what Rosebud knows? Because that is not in Rosebud's data set.
Mm-hmm.
So as Rosebud at least sort of gets to a more stable place of um, not knowing the answer to the questions regarding Samael, but at least to having some sense of maybe what corner of reality that fits in, Rosebud comes back to awareness and sees whatever scene is currently going on.
I think what's currently going on is Wendell kind of coming back with that scale. I think you'll feel the kind of roiling hunger off of Wendell still at this point. Does that seem reasonable, Wendell?
Yeah, it's something between someone who had like it looks like that classic mad scientist surviving an explosion in their face kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm like walking back and the like energy is still like drifting off me as I'm slowly closing my body back up.
How do people know that you have two of your three conditions marked? Like, what do we see? Are there signs? Are there not signs?
Uh, I think they can tell in how my body patches itself up in that it's not doing that very well. Uh,
Hmm.
Usually I like it like seals itself up pretty neatly, but like there's like dozens of cracks you can see like a spider web across glass, and it's just shifting around instead of actually fusing.
I do think that feeling, that almost kind of threat from you, is probably what breaks Father Murata out of his state, and he will say, "I'm going to go back to uh, uh, the facility and check on the others." Uh,
Wait a minute, weren't you gone just a moment before?
he hadn't left yet. He had asked
Okay,
for
okay.
permission, like
Yeah,
you're
okay,
trying to
okay.
turn around and realize that no one had said for him to go. So,
Okay.
uh,
Okay, so maybe Amanda just mistook that and is not sure if this is a reality break or if she just missed him being there. Like, okay, okay,
and he will go out.
okay.
Rosebud waves goodbye. Rosebud's back to being a 13-year-old Spanish girl, except a different one this time.
Okay, he will wave awkwardly and he will head out, leaving essentially now it's just the three of you uh, in this gymnasium, small. There's probably like some equivalent of Spanish techno music playing in the background, very low.
I'm sure it was gone before. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I swear I saw him leave.
Right.
Anyway,
I,
I'm fairly certain that whatever we're after is an angel of some kind. We just need to figure out how to get at her, it, whatever.
And maybe we should figure out what it wants.
Yeah.
I mean, or does it just want to destroy the world. I mean, that's also, I don't know.
Can't figure out why it cares for regular
Hmm?
people.
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe these are not quite regular people, right? These are people who are. Maybe that's why it's mad, because these people are going to other dimensions which they're not supposed to do. I think.
So maybe this thing is supposed to keep things on the right track. Like,
Yeah.
humans get born, their souls go to that world, they die, their souls go there.
Mm-hmm.
End of story.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't like anything moving elsewhere.
But many humans have traveled alternate dimensions, so
Yeah, so it would be very bad for them if this thing got more loose than it already is.
Oh, it got loose. Well, no. Do you realize what that means?
Do tell me.
I mean, maybe somebody helped it.
Right.
Hey, that's the problem that we're having. Somebody helping this. And I really want to look at these archives now, not just because I like archives.
Huh.
But also there is a point to this other than satisfying my curiosity is what I'm saying.
Do you think it would help us pinpoint what exactly this thing would be?
Help? Yes. Don't know if we really need to. I mean, we have a good idea about what it is, but I mean, we don't know what it can do or how to fight it.
Well, usually, according to legend at least, if something's been chained once, you can do it again and hopefully learn from what
Yeah.
the last jailers did wrong.
Mhm. But that means that we should find out who A, the last jailers were, B, where the jail itself was, and maybe then we can draw some conclusions. Right? Does that make sense? Yes, that makes
Yes.
sense. Cool. I think we need to talk to Father Morada again, because he'd be the first one to know, right?
I presume he probably knows more about Christianity than I do, considering that, assuming that Christianity has anything to do with it.
I mean, I have legends in my head about people being chained, but they're mostly not Christian, or if they were Christian, then they were saved by the grace of the Lord. So, yeah, this is probably, I don't know. I mean, there was Prometheus and Loki who were chained. I'm probably not dealing with those.
No.
Maybe.
I wonder something, Amanda.
Yeah.
Do you think that these keys and Rosebud reforms her hand into the set of keys that she saw that the teenager had would fit those chains?
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, I think they might. I think they might. We maybe should talk to this teenager again, where they got these keys.
Her sister is still alive, right?
This is a different person. I was speaking with some students.
Yeah, that was when
And
we were at the book market, right?
yes,
They found those keys uh on the ground
Oh.
in the wake of one of the the, the killings.
Oh.
I believe that it was the last killing that they found these and picked them up because they look weird and probably realized later that they were probably evidence.
Okay. And we don't need to talk to them, maybe. Okay. That that's interesting though. The killing they were found, that was not the first killing, right?
Right. There
No,
was the most recent one, which was the not the most recent one, but the before you got here, the returner who passed away.
So if it took someone who had keys to its locks, maybe it still is chained partially.
Hmm. Those chains were not. Wait a minute, these chains are not from here. You're right. These chains were given to me from another timeline. So in this timeline, maybe they're still
They're still
intact.
looking for them, the keys.
Yeah. I mean, but it happened again when the keys were missing. So, huh. I want to check the archives for someone who's been chained or evidence that they did do
Let's
some
go.
chaining of
Yeah.
something, right?
Uh,
Because
so Amanda, Wendell, Rosebud, let's assume that the three of you will head out. I think there's kind of as you go out, maybe a little bit of chaos on the grounds in that you see that the chancellor has clearly decided that the most important thing to do now is to delay the book fair. Like that's clearly she's found something to do and she's doing it, and she has some of the staff and security people, and they're arguing with students, and the whole floral explosion stuff seems to have fallen a little bit into the back of people's minds right now. Um, but if you cross over from this side across the road to the older part of the seminary, like when you go in there, definitely you can see there's evidence that blooming, that blossoming happened there as well. Um, there are dried leaves and so on the grounds about, and it looks like probably only a few people saw it since you're still fairly early in the morning here on a Saturday. Uh, so where do you want to head? There's been mentioned that there's the general library for the seminary, that there are the historical archives of the seminary, and then Father Murat has mentioned that he has records on the returners, and there is still one returner that you haven't talked to. So do we want to split up? Do you want to all go together? Where do you want to go? Amanda, you kind of led the charge out, so let me ask you first.
I think I want to go to the historical things.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Uh, Rosebud, are you going along with Amanda, or are you going a different direction? You following Wendell?
um, Rosebud will follow somebody. It just sort of depends on uh, who seems I probably need to know where Wendell is
Sure.
going before I
Wendell,
make
what do
a
you
choice.
want to do? Amanda seems set on heading to this historical archives. What do you want to do?
I would like to go to the archives as well, if only Amanda doesn't tell me not to go there.
Okay.
I think Amanda kind of forgot why that would be a bad idea.
In that case, I will happily sneak along,
I mean, I'm pretty sure she's rather still a little
occupied.
flustered. Still a little flustered about the whole scene that she had with Samael. And yeah, and also there's an archive. Yay! Maybe I can go there. And also I saw someone who was me in another timeline get destroyed because I asked them to do a thing. We no, I gotta go and look at an archive. Definitely I gotta go look at an archive. That will soothe me. I hope. I think maybe.
So I think we will see you all like go to the the building that you've been pointing out to as sort of the research facility, and you have passes, you have authorization from the chancellor. You will get through a couple of people before they'll say, okay, well, uh, they'll hand you like latex gloves, and they'll say, okay, just be careful, don't, when you go down in here, what you touch. Um, these are surviving records from Spanish Catholicism over the last, several hundred years, and even older, and records of the seminary. Um,
Do
and
these have digital copies at all?
oh no, we don't have the facilities to scan
Okay,
anything yet. No, no, these are unique and invaluable. I don't think
thank
there's
you.
any copies of these whatsoever. If these were to be lost, they would be gone. Uh, and they will take you down into a deeper part of the facility. Like it is old stone basement. One might even say dungeon kind of
Mhm.
below. I mean, it gets cooler, colder when you're down here. There, you go down to a sub level, and then there's another sub level, and they'll take you down into this big set of rooms. There's clearly been some modernization work here to put in tables and gather materials, but a lot of things are just shelves of old books and papers and manuscripts and relics and reliquaries and items and things. Uh, and the sound of blowing machinery. Clearly, they've got dehumidifiers and climate control things in here to try and keep this. But it's all very kind of amateur hour, power strips run down here and like three or four dehumidifiers running off of one power strip. And the lights are very basic down here. Um, and it's kind of dim in here. And I think definitely, Wendell, you will get a flash of those weird overlapping right, not right maps that you saw. Um, so I know Wendell's hungry for secrets, so let's actually start with Amanda.
Um, okay. I think what I want to do is I want to look at a catalog. Because I imagine that there is a paper one, right? One of these old card catalogs with the bar, and then these cards are taped onto the bar.
Yeah, it definitely has the look of a project that's been going on for trying to catalog and assess these over the last like 30, 40 years. You know, some of them are label printed, some of them are handwritten, some of them are typewriter cards, various states of yellowing here. And you can definitely go through this. Um,
Yeah.
what what is it that you are looking for here?
Um, I think what I'm looking for is I would like to explain to Rosebud how these catalogs work. I'm not looking for a key. I'm just looking to calm myself down because I'm a little frazzled like still. And I would like to well, first of all, I want to if Rosebud probably knows how catalogs work, right?
Not specifically. Rosebud knows that in some places books are kept, but in other places books are kept by color, and Rosebud has observed different behavior in different places, realities.
Okay. Well, this is a catalog. Um, and I find it incredibly calming to look through these and look at all the titles. It kind of speaks to some part of me that I think the part of me that is not exactly human, I guess. That speaks to me and calms me on a level I don't know. I don't know. I
Would this help? And Rosebud transforms into a vision of a Burpee seed catalog from 1910.
oh, Oh, wow. Yes, thank you. That is insanely helpful. Thank you. I think I'm opening my heart
Yeah,
here.
I was going to say, this definitely feels like reveal your heart. Are you
Yeah,
generating any tokens before that?
I don't think so,
Okay.
actually,
Then how many do you want to spend on this roll?
because I'm opening my emotions. I'm not asking. Reveal your heart. I'm spending two. I still got some.
Okay.
Oh. Um, yeah, that's roll it. Yeah, it's an 8, it's a 9.
Okay.
It's good. It's all good.
Absolutely.
Oops.
So,
Oops.
uh,
Where are you?
what what do you want to choose? And then we'll have Rosebud choose.
Mm-hmm. I think I want to grow closer to Rosebud and gain a bond.
Okay. Um, and Rosebud, what's your reaction to this? What do you want to pick from that?
You'll have to give me the options.
Oh, so on reveal your heart on the 8 to 10, because you're PC, kind of deepening this connection, you can either grow closer and gain a bond, soothe your heart and clear a condition. You learn something important, which means you get to mark XP, or they give you hope and you get to clear ruin.
I think I'll actually gain a bond.
Okay, that makes sense. There is a bit of the two of you working together, looking at this card catalog and so on, and focusing in on that and how there's various forms of information being transmitted and communicated, and there's an evolution of how they've marked these cards over time and different systems and things. And there's a weird comfort in just figuring it out.
So one,
Information.
yeah, one of the things that Rosebud does as Amanda is pulling out the cards and examining them is Rosebud turns into a sort of like a screen blackboard sort of thing,
Hmm.
and Rosebud will repeat the picture of whatever card Amanda has seen and put it into virtual space so that Amanda has a board to work against.
Doing
Which is
some,
to say, this is Rosebud's body transforming from being a Spanish teenage or 13-year-old
yeah.
girl to a board.
So becoming a very much a hyper card or Miro board of
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
of pieces here. Um,
So useful.
Wendell, while those two are so engaged in that process, what are you doing?
I'm doing very much the obvious. I'm
Okay.
going to find the tastiest, most arcane, obscure little forgotten nuggets and devour those.
Okay.
If that
Um,
so happens to help us here, that's a bonus.
so is there which particular move do you think you want to trigger here? Because it does feel like maybe there's something you want to do, or do we want to, is this more of a color thing? What do you think?
I think I'm just doing the gnawing edge of hunger here.
Okay.
Uh, and I'm going to spend 2 darkness tokens.
Okay.
That is a 9.
That is a 9. So you blunt the worst edges of your hunger and feed only as much as you need. What do you want to pick there as the result? And then we'll talk about what that looks like.
Uh, I don't actually know what a hunger condition is.
So basically, hunger conditions mean that you get to add a new condition to your list because you notice you only start with 3, whereas most people have 4. You get to add new conditions that you can mark, like
Mm,
that reflect your hunger.
I don't think it's the time for that.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna patch up those holes in my body, and I'm gonna clear a condition.
Okay. Which one of the two are you clearing?
I'm clearing lonely.
Okay. And what is it about this feeding on the old secrets and bits and pieces, of these decades of the, you know, Spanish Catalan Catholic Church here that feeds this for you?
I think it's the like as I'm absorbing this information, it's like a throwback to back when I was just a scholar and
Hmm.
just working at the university and like feeling just a fragment of the kinship I had with people there. A bit of nostalgia as a balm.
Absolutely. You become more of your old self in this, even as the words bleed off the page. Um, what is, I mean, is it, do the pages themselves vanish? Is the letters vanished? Like when you feed on these secrets, what do we see?
I think they start to mold in their stacks. Some of them crack and fall into pieces. It looks like mostly natural, if accelerated, decay.
Absolutely. Uh,
As I think the like power strips of the several humidifiers in a row kind of crackle a bit.
yeah. Do you think that this you're doing this, is it loud enough that you think Amanda and Rosebud would pick this up, or are you being a little more subtle in this?
I don't think I have the presence to do this subtly.
Yeah. So, Amanda, Rosebud, you're there, you're working, you're putting information together, and I think that both of you will suddenly feel kind of a void of knowledge of information, and you look over, and you will see Wendell farther down the archives, and Amanda, you've seen him feed before. Uh, Rosebud, you probably have not. Uh, and he looks better than he did when he came down here.
Well, tell me you didn't eat the information we're looking for.
No, no, I got some useless stuff on some cardinals and their
Okay.
sins.
Ah,
You are very multidimensional. Where does all the information you consume go to?
Oh, it just goes inside me. The stuff that doesn't fit leaks.
Hmm. But when you did the thing where you broke apart, I could tell that you were not in just one place.
Yeah, it's I don't know the precise terminology. I haven't kept up since the 50s, but uh we call it folding. It's not in the same place exactly. Bit off to the side, but still inside. It's complicated and not worth knowing.
I am
kind
used
of.
to complicated dimensional relationships, so this does not seem beyond conception. Mostly just curious.
I wonder if I could still find it. And looks at Wendell with some calculation.
What are you looking at?
Um, I was wondering if I could still find it when it's in you. And we can find stuff in people. It's, okay, it's mostly academic. We don't need these cardinal stuff, but
Uh,
Is there a card catalog for you, Wendell?
is it a what?
Is there a card catalog? I have just learned of card catalogs. Do you have a card catalog that explains your knowledge?
No, not that I know of. The closest you can get is a couple of songs that I don't remember myself anymore. At least that's how I became like this. I guess you could store songs on card catalogs, but kind of misses the point.
Yeah.
Did you find anything, by the way?
Not yet. We've been looking through the card. I got distracted by the card catalog, actually. It's,
I found hierarchy.
yeah, we found the organizing logic behind the card catalog, but not actually what we were looking for. I'm sorry, I got distracted by, you know. I mean,
Well,
I guess we both got distracted here a little.
yeah, I guess I don't have room to judge.
Yeah. But maybe now we can do a thing where we can find stuff.
So feels like grasp keys.
Yep.
Okay. Who wants to take the lead on this role?
Let's see here. Wendell, you want to take lead because I think the scales with feathers on the side were yours, right? Not someone's.
Sure, I can go ahead.
I mean, you've been deeper in the card catalog than the others of us, so
Absolutely.
I don't have any darkness tokens to
Are you
spend, but
generating any? Is there anything that's happened recently that would?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Then roll with 0.
That's a
Still a
9.
9. Holy
I'm
moly.
hot tonight.
Yeah.
nice.
So I think one of the things is that there's definitely, you'll realize that you've been told about the like older history of this seminary as being a, training place for exorcists. And it's very clear to you that if there are records of that, which there almost certainly are, they're not here. I think is one thing. There's certainly clearly a bit of concealment going on. That absence denotes significance. There's also a a gap of records that are from essentially the early 30s to the early 40s that correspond with the rise of Franco and Franco's Spain. Uh, uh, but you will find clearly overlooked in the like hiding of that information or uh, uh, destroying, you're not sure. Um, there is a box marked that has like an early 40s date on it. And it has on it the name Murata, but not Father Oscar Murata, but let's say Manuel Murata. Um, and when you open it up, you will see there are probably some of those same runes that you saw on the padlocks that are etched on the inside lid of this box. But inside, weirdly, there are a stack of what looks like, I want to say, trading cards, like old style, like very early 20th century old style trading cards of the saints.
Oh.
And there are about a dozen of them in there. Uh, uh, and they have some writing on the back that looks like it's in code of some kind, like a cipher or something on there that you'll look at. The thing that's like all these saints are about saints of incorruptibility of whose body didn't decay or didn't change, like that's sort of the theme of these saints cards. um but I think you will definitely, as you're looking at that those cards, um two of them will catch your eye, uh because you can kind of make out through the cipher the names that are on them. And one of them has on it the name King Zebra,
Oh, no.
and the other one has the name Ades.
He does. Have we heard that before?
That is
Yeah.
from the sisters.
Yeah.
That is curious.
Yeah. So that's not a coincidence where they went, or that, I mean,
Lacking the capability to decipher the rest of these, I'm suspecting that either these are wards or summons.
okay.
The father does seem oblivious or a very good liar if they were summons. So I think this is possibly a reoccurring problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So we should maybe confront Miss Father Murata about this whole thing? Do you think?
Yes.
I mean,
Even if he doesn't know anything, he'll probably inform some things even by relation, possibly.
yeah. And I don't even understand what this has got to do with Christianity, or if it does have anything to do with Christianity.
I
From
think
what
at
I,
most that has something to do with the church as an organization more than religion at this
yeah,
point.
yeah,
I feel like we're getting close.
yeah. Me too.
So I think if it's okay, we'll cut from the three of you in that basement
Mhm.
uh, back to that facility. Amanda, you've been here before, so you kind of know your way around here. Uh, it uh, you know, there are only essentially three patients here, plus Father Murata. Um, uh, but I think you will go up to Father Murata's office. Um, he definitely has, you know, a very strong cup of coffee there, that kind of a strong Turkish brew that he's drinking, and he will ask you in when you come up there, and invite you to sit. He looks particularly at Rosebud when he says sit. Like, Rosebud, are you back in the 13-year-old girl form, or what do you look like right now when we come in here?
She, um, so on the way up, initially she had forgotten to change out of uh, mural board, but somebody stared at her and then she reformed. And in this case, she just saw one of the brothers in a black captain,
Mm-hmm.
and she's just like, "Oh, I need to have a form," and so she reformed herself into a brother in a black captain.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it takes a minute for Father Murata to kind of like, because you have that weird dimensionality to you, like you take it for him to kind of realize what has gone on. Again, he's seen you transform before. He'll invite you to sit, and he said, kind of looks at you. Do you sit?
I have not tried.
All right. He says, uh, there's no one from the household staff here today, so I can't really offer you coffee. Um, uh, I checked in, and the Petrali sisters seem fine. They were in the garden when the blooming happened. Uh, Melina has taken her sister back to their rooms, but they seem all right. I spoke with Lane Prynne, and they are okay. Um, uh, so, um, what is the next step?
We found a thing.
Oh, what?
Well, I hate to sound like a cliche, but I was hoping you'd tell us. Uh, I'm just gonna show him the cards.
You show them
These
the
were
box or just the cards?
the box.
Okay. Kind of set that down, and he will say, "Oh, that's a very old style office strong box." Uh, and you see him look, and he sees that name on it, and that he's certainly taken aback by that, and he will open the box up, and he will look at them, and he actually chuckles, I think, when he sees the cards, and he will say, I remember these, um, from when I was very young. We used to have these in school. We used to trade for the Saints. Uh,
Okay, like they're Pokemon or something.
yes, there are a lot of saints in the church. When we were kids, we were quizzed on them.
Mm.
So a little bit like how you say flashcards and such. But yes, we did trade for them. Um,
Mm.
but uh, the name on here is uh, my father's name.
I understood that this man was a priest. How could he have been your
No, no, my
father?
father was not a priest.
Okay,
Um,
that's
no. He was an officer
uh,
serving under General Franco during the Civil War and afterwards. I have come to understand, and he will go over to the safe and open it up. And this is the same safe that Samuel broke into before, and pulls out that dissertation and sets that down. He says, I have come to understand that my father was involved with the use of people like yourselves during the revolution and after. It was not something he ever spoke of, he was not a man given to talking. And especially not to me. I was the youngest of my siblings, uh, which is why I joined the church. Um,
Was your
but
father a normal man? As in, did he possess any affinity to the arcane or otherwise?
if he did, he never told me or showed me. It's not something I expect. I think, in fact, he was a normal, banal, evil man.
Evil, you say?
I have come to understand that there were things he did to serve the government during that time. I know that you have to understand that this is Catalan. This is a region of Spain that was very put upon by General Franco. There was a lot of suppression, and there was a lot of very bad things done here. And then he'll gesture around and he'll say, and quite frankly, the church was complicit in that. Not the whole church, but certainly there were portions of the church that were complicit in those bad things. And I think that you can tell he's being pretty forthright. Like he's telling you how he feels. And I think that you can tell that he has very mixed emotions about his father.
I can relate. Okay.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Wendell?
Sort of.
Sort of.
Um, I'm looking at the keys right now. What is the map indicating the difference between the campus now and before? Is that a like I don't remember that one.
So Rosebud got that key, and basically they were skimming the archive, if I recall correctly, Rosebud, and had a vision of other maps of this campus that were different than the ones that, like the layout that you've seen here, with the suggestion that there are places on campus that are hidden away and not on the maps.
This entire time I've been trying to figure out where the door would be. But I think the point is that the door will be everywhere it isn't. Just somewhere in the vicinity of the campus. We're clearly dealing with something that sees itself as of the dominion of everything in between the realms. So it would only make sense for its door to be in between, in the overlap.
Oh, one more question. I don't know if you know this.
Yes.
Um, there's somebody kept here as a prisoner.
Prisoner?
I mean, someone like us appointed, the three of us.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Who would know that?
It says, I, I, I can't imagine who would know that. I mean, or that there would be such a thing. If there was such a thing, has been sealed away, has been hidden here, buried somewhere.
Mhm.
Uh,
Do you have a map of the church?
uh,
Drawings?
Absolutely. And I think he will go over and he will find a map, um, maybe a little more formal, maybe from some renovations and stuff, and he will lay that out on the desk there.
So this map may not necessarily be a key yet, but could I use the better to eat you with, my dear move on it regardless?
Let's try that.
Uh,
What
because
condition do you want to
I would
mark?
like to turn it into a truer shape.
Okay,
I'm riffing on this like all the differing dimensions about this place. Maybe there's a room that's not on the map that cannot be on a map.
okay.
Oh.
So what condition are you marking?
Uh, where I'm marking raging
Oh.
because I am on the warpath at this point.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Um, and I think that we will see some of that anger, some of that hunger you saw from Wendell before when they were speaking with the sort of the other self briefly when they got these scales. Wendell, what are the two questions that you want to ask?
Uh, how do my claws break the key and change it into a truer shape?
I think
Oh.
that when you run your hands, your claws, your hunger across the map, I think it will change. And I think you will see a set of chambers that aren't on the map that are clearly walled away.
Mhm.
And what is your second question?
Uh, what do my teeth tear away to reveal someone else's hunger?
I think you can feel the hunger of several figures that are lapping at the edges of this. The power of King Zebra and the wild love of uh, uh, let me get the names again of Edes uh, and two others who you haven't heard named, but uh, like you could tell that these are the takers for the other returners, and their hunger is present here on on the campus. And I think you will feel that kind of radiation from that room. And I'm going to mark another tick on the doom track
Mhm.
because you will all hear suddenly, and it's like 11:13 in the morning, the bells on the cathedral suddenly peal out discordant. They start up faster than they ought to. Like bells take time to get going, but suddenly they're going and they're crashing. There's a fast tune, like are there multiple bells or a single bell? It's hard to tell. And it just a little bit of that, and then you'll hear a sound like clearly a crashing as the mechanism of the bells gives way. Like you can hear it from here, that sort of echoing as clearly the bells and the mechanism on it crash down the bell tower on the cathedral and just stop suddenly. Um,
Whoa.
Rosebud, where have you heard that music before?
So as a companion in training, one of the things that we have to be aware of is that certain sounds, bells, sometimes like whistles or flutes, chimes, those sounds can disrupt dimensional connections.
Oh,
And so Rosebud had, during training, observed a reality where it was in the final stages of the current reality was dying as a new reality invaded, and
Oh,
Rosebud heard the last three bells peal out before they were shattered.
oh,
nice.
cool.
Uh, and do you say something to the others?
Yes, Rosebud will say, I believe the protections have fallen. We are no longer guarded.
That
Nice.
doesn't sound good.
Amanda, I want to give a chance for you to get a reaction or a comment or a scene here before we close up.
That is so kind of weirdly interesting, right? I will search through my own memories about this sound, but I don't think I will find anything that is useful, or maybe I just get a little uncomfortable, or get really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think that vibration does run through you.
Hmm.
And I think for
Yeah,
a moment you have that same feeling that you did when you were doing the time shifting, like
yeah,
that kind of changing of yourself, changing the vibration
yeah,
frequency of
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
And I think that's where we're going to stop. The feeling of the hunger from those takers, uh, possibly these other returners still in danger, those protections having crashed down, this location found. I think next time we'll start out with some bits, but we'll probably move pretty quickly into
Hmm.
doing that solution bit at the
Yeah,
start of next session, if that sounds cool
yes,
with everybody.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Uh,
Well, I
yes.
have to say, I will be in a hotel next time. I hope the connection's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope for something good.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start with Amanda. Um,
Yeah. It's me.
Amanda, uh, let's check your impulse question. Did you uh, act in a way that contradicts what you know of yourself?
I think when I met this person that was me but not me, and after I got the change, I reacted with a lot of forcing and very aggressively.
I think that is absolutely fair. And now I'm trying to find where the thing is with the other end of session questions.
So,
I always,
and the moves,
oh,
I
it's right
think.
down. No, it's right down below that. I'm such a
Oh,
goof.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Yes.
so did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity?
Um. Did I? Yes, I think I did. I expressed most of my humanity with my with going out like, oh, I love catalogs. I really need to look at
Yeah.
those.
So let's have you mark XP for that. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
Yeah, I think I did. I saw
Right?
myself
Yeah.
as a harbinger, right?
Yeah,
So I
that's
guess
that's an XP.
yeah, I need to talk to Wendell at some point about this, I think. Just
Okay.
realize. Okay. And I
Uh,
also learned that Wendell can tear himself apart.
yes.
That
So mark
that
XP for
was
that.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Uh,
And you did uncover
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
key, so you don't mark
yeah,
ruin.
yeah. I think we all did. No, we didn't. Rosebud didn't. Sorry.
Rosebud, did you surrender to the hunger within you at the worst possible moment? I think that's definitely true, wouldn't you, Wendell?
Um,
You needed those archives, and you went ham on them.
yeah,
That could have been very bad if you had failed, right?
yeah, but they were yummy. It was
Yes.
worth it.
So we'll have you mark XP or ruin if you want. Um,
I'm gonna take a ruin actually.
okay. Did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity?
I did.
Okay. So mark XP. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
I don't think I did.
Okay. And did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
You know, I'm part of this initiative.
Oh,
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
the whole time thing. Yeah, I think that's fair.
I have
Uh,
this entire delicious secret that I need to get out of you somehow.
and you did uncover a key, so you don't mark ruin.
Okay.
Rosebud, did you harm yourself in pursuit of perfection?
Um, I would say no.
Okay. Did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity?
Yes, I would say I expressed my monstrous nature. Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to put a tick of XP on the sheet for you for that.
Okay.
Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
Um, hmm.
Maybe your limitations when you were looking at the card catalog. It was something so far outside of your like experience there.
Well, but that's so Rosebud's constantly exploring different realities, so
Hmm.
Rosebud's constantly experiencing things that they haven't experienced before.
Okay.
So in that context, that's not unusual.
Sure.
Really, the what Rosebud is starting to realize that, um, especially watching the other characters, that they have no guidance for they're starting to distinguish between being a simple companion
Hmm.
and actually um, uh, protecting the world.
I think that's fair. I'm going to give you an XP for that. Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
Oh yes, Rosebud learned a whole bunch about Wendell.
Yeah, marking XP for that. And you didn't uncover a key, so we're going to
Nope.
put a ruin tick on your sheet for that. I would like to do a quick stars and wishes, particularly with wishes. You know, if there's a move or something you wanted us to get to before we get to the final moment or for epilogue, let me start with Amanda on that.
Yes, stars for everybody. Liked it. I still love the interplay between Wendell and Amanda, especially when Amanda forgets what Wendell does for a snack. I really like the whole, are you taking Wendell? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, and I always like having Rosebud around because I think it's kind of easy to relax around Rosebud because Rosebud is such a non-judgmental presence, right? Rosebud's just taking in everything and then commenting on it, and it's not judgmental, even though in the end it might sound like it would be. But yeah, I really, and I like the way we were piercing together the mystery with all, yeah, let's throw all our new moves at it, and then yeah, and I really like the theorizing we were doing and then puzzling out what was going on. I adored that. That was fun. So yeah, wishes wise, I mean, I don't know if I would ever get to using the ruin move that I took, but that's fine. I don't know. The Man of a Thousand Faces, I would like to use that at least once, but if it doesn't come around, it's fine.
Okay, but
I don't know if we will have the opportunity.
all right, but let me take note that down for myself just in case.
Yeah, thank you.
Wendell.
Uh, yeah, seconding the actually getting some points on the board, lack of a better term, of actually getting some progress in. Um, yeah, I am terrible at thinking
Yeah,
of
no,
stars
no.
and wishes.
Just one of the things is you'd mentioned last time trying to connect up the keys to elements that we already had. So I was trying to do that, and I'm glad you felt like we were feeling like we had a forward motion there.
Yeah.
Do you have anything wishes wise?
No, not really.
Okay,
Uh,
that is fair. And Rosebud.
So I'm going to perversely say that I appreciated having inconsistent awareness of what was going on, because I think it actually simulates my character's experience
Oh
better.
yeah,
It's like, oh, I got a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Oh, because I was busy doing other things. Oh, uh, hmm, what's actually going on? Um, um, and I'm enjoy. So my character is so laid back
uh-huh,
that even when she stares at her own ruin, she does, or we don't know what we're looking at necessarily. But watching the other characters react with so much intensity is very interesting. Um, it's like, and I don't want to come out of Rosebud's, like, as Amanda, as Sabine said, non-judgmental shell, because Rosebud
right.
really doesn't have opinions about most things. But she does have some opinions. She just doesn't talk about them. The other thing I would, yeah, that's mostly, it's just everything is becoming more and more intense, which is also, of course, impacting Rosebud, but in like just adding layers of, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Because it's like each session, the other players change the stakes a little bit, which is very interesting.
Neat. That's a really good observation. Anything wishes wise?
Now I actually have a question.
Sure.
So I am being fairly freeform about Rosebud, and I wanted to check in and see if that was okay, and also ask if there were any observations or pointers anybody wanted to say to give me feedback about how I'm operating.
it would be nice if Rosebud had some kind of like incentive of their own at like weird obscure points. Like, oh, this I know. Let's do that. That would be cool.
Oh, that's a nice idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say I am glad that you give us when we come to you for reactions, you do give us like solid reactions of Rosebud, and that those bits are very nice.
Yeah, I think a little bit more active stance that would be nice, because especially if we continue to be only three players. Um, but other than that, I really like how Rosebud reflects their Rosebud's newness. I also like the fact that we are getting comfortable with not using any pronouns for Rosebud, or trying to at least.
Mhm.
So that's a new experience for me, and I'm very grateful for you to give me that. Thank you.
Awesome. I am going to stop the recording
Mhm.
first.